Who are you if you stop trying to prove yourself? Strip away what you produce. What's left? For a lot of people, that question doesn't feel confusing. It feels uncomfortable because so much of your life has been built around answering a different one. How do I become enough? And the way you learn to answer that was through doing. Doing more, doing better, doing it perfectly. Overachieving is how you avoid feeling good enough. It gives you results you can point to when you don't feel okay inside. But that feeling doesn't hold. The standard shifts before you even register the win until pressure starts to feel normal. At some point, a belief settled in. If I'm perfect, I'll finally feel safe. Safe from being judged, safe from being rejected, safe from that quiet sense of not being enough. That belief doesn't stay in those thoughts. It shows up in how you move. Every mistake feels heavier than it is. You finish something, and instead of relief, your mind goes straight to what's missing. Even small flaws feel exposed. Perfectionism is just fear in a fancy outfit. It looks like discipline, but it runs on something else. You learn to equate achievement with love. When you performed, you were received differently. When you did well, something shifted in how you were seen. Your system held on to that. Now doing more doesn't just feel productive. It feels necessary. Slowing down doesn't feel neutral. It feels risky. That's where the cost starts to show up. Busyness keeps you from feeling what's underneath. There's always something to fix, something to improve, something else to get ahead of. So you don't sit long enough to notice what's actually there. And when things get quiet, you feel it immediately. That restlessness, like you should be doing something, like you're falling behind even when nothing's wrong. So you move again, you produce, you optimize, you stay in motion, but you can't hustle your way into healing because healing doesn't happen while you're constantly moving away from yourself. It shows up when there's enough space to actually notice what you've been avoiding. There's a moment where this can go differently. Right before you add more, you catch the impulse. Not everything that feels urgent actually is. Sometimes it's just pressure, looking for somewhere to land. And pressure never finishes the job. It keeps raising the bar. So instead of following it, you interrupt it. You let something be done without tightening it one more time. Not perfect, complete. And you notice what comes up after that. That discomfort. That's the pattern, not the task. Then it becomes clearer. Productivity was never proof of your worth. It just became the easiest way to measure something you didn't feel yet. And once you see that, rest starts to look different. You're allowed to rest without earning it. Not after everything is done, not after you've proven enough, now. And this can feel unfamiliar because you're stepping out of a pattern that taught you that your value had to be maintained. The same pattern that makes failure feel personal. But you're allowed to fail without losing love, without losing your place, without losing yourself. And this brings you back to the question, who are you without the need to prove? Because the goal isn't perfection, it's presence, being where you are without trying to upgrade it in real time. That's difficult when your identity has been built around doing, but being doesn't require doing. It requires noticing. It requires honesty. It requires moments where you stop and don't immediately reach for what's next. There's a moment after you finish something where you usually move right on. That's where this shifts. Instead of moving, you stay there. No next task, no improvement, no adjustment, just you without needing to justify your position. That's where something different starts to form. Not pressure, not urgency, space. And in that space, you start to see it clearly. You were never behind. You were responding to something internal that kept moving the line. And now you don't have to chase it anymore because a version of you that's been trying this whole time was never falling short. You're already enough. Not when you do more, not when everything is perfect, now. If this felt familiar, there's a reason for that. This pattern doesn't just shape how you work. It shapes how you rest, how you connect, how you experience yourself when no one's watching. And once you start seeing it, you start questioning more than just the habits. You start questioning the voice behind them. That's what we're getting into next. Toxic positivity, when light is used to avoid shadow. Because sometimes what looks like staying positive is actually a quieter way of avoiding what's real. You realize you weren't protecting your mindset, you were protecting yourself from feeling.